let's just say these days I only concentrate on my dream to become a travel nurse. And when you said, why did you say a travel nurse?
Overseas.
If you, yeah, overseas. Yeah, okay. It's because if you say a travel nurse, it sounds like you want to work on a ship or something. So, okay, an overseas nurse. In New York. So I'm trying to read many books about that subject to get motivation. One day I came across one certain autobiography, which is about the Korean male nurse who is now currently working in America, called David. I glanced at this before and I saw this and it made me smile. So what you're saying, I know what you're saying, but because you've divided the sentence up the way you have, what you're saying is that America is called David.
Yeah.
But America is not. America is called America. So this part here, yes, needs to be moved. About a male Korean nurse, okay, paste, called David, who is currently working in America. Okay, it's more logical. Yes. Okay. Through, not thorough. Through that book, I was able to know how he overcame the language barrier. And became a professional health practitioner, although he is just Asian. Oh, it's not nothing just Asian. Well, why do you say just Asian? That if you say just, it means that he's lower than everybody else.
Because it is a minor group in America.
Yeah, but yes, but if you say he is just Asian, it implies that Asian people are not of the same value as the people in America. And you
I didn't mean it.
Yeah, of course not. Okay, so let's just this I mean this is part of the nuance or the subtlety of the language. You know, if you say somebody's just this, it means that they're lower. They're not of the same quality. Okay, so although he is Asian and a foreigner. Right, according to that book, he is also acting as a consultant in Korea. Oh, right, okay, when our country has to establish some laws about the medical, about, okay, well, we know that nursing is medical, so about nursing. I want to know further about his tip to be able to, okay, it's not...
Succeed.
Correct, yes. Succeed in his field. And what made him go forward, because I think he seemed to have a great resolution, unlike others. I got a lot of inspiration while I was reading his book, and if I have a chance to meet him in person, then I want to ask him about the way, well, either how he developed English skills or the way he developed. So it would be one or the other. He developed English skills, and what are the benefits and drawbacks of working in America? So does he? Where did he start off working? Was it in New York? Which city?
California. I'm not sure.
Okay. So most of the nurses that I speak to are going. Did I ask you this the other day? Are going to New York? Is that your intention as well, to go to New York?
Yes.
Okay.
At the first time, I want to work in New York.
Right. Because is it right? Because that's got the easiest entry for IELTS. Is that right?
Yes, and also I think in New York, it would be good for me to experience a lot of cultures of America. So I want to live at the first time.
Right. So why is it that all of the Korean nurses seem to want to go to America? Why America? Why not Canada? Why not Australia or New Zealand?
Mm, I believe, uh, except America, it is really hard for nurses to work because when we want to work in Australia, Canada, or so many countries, we have to re-enter the college again.
Ah, yeah.
So that is why many nurses choose more relative easiest way to earn money much more faster.
Right. Okay. So, looking back at your part two story here, yes, it's a good story. Just a few small changes in there. So take note of the changes, but it's a good story. Right. Okay. What did we do? Right. So it's a new test. Okay. So, are you a student or do you work?
I'm currently a student. Uh, I'm currently working as a nurse. At the same time, I'm studying with IELTS for going abroad as a nurse.
Right. And do you like your job?
Yes, sometimes I am having a tough event with the take givers or patient, but even though uh, but still I love my job and I can say nurse is my dream job.
Right. Why did you choose to do that type of work?
The reason why I chose my job was my mother's influence because my mother is also a nurse and she is still working as a nurse. So since I was young, I want I wa I wanted to become like such a great lady.
Did you ever work with your mother?
Pardon?
Did you ever work in the same hospital as your mother?
No, unfortunately, my mother has been working as a school teacher.
All right.
Uh,
Yes. Yeah. I remember
so
now. Yeah.
we don't have any uh, same experience in working same hospital.
But do you think you'd find that difficult if you were both working as nurses in the same hospital? Would you find that difficult, or would that be a good thing for you?
I think it might be difficult for
Yeah.
me because uh, even though I love my mother really much, but working at the same place would be a little bit hard for me.
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. What's the difference between where you are living now and where you have lived in the past?
Mm, until a few months ago, I have been living in a 21-story building, and I did lived fourth floor, but now I moved to my place to the house, so I don't need to ride on elevator or not to I don't need to be quiet at the nighttime.
Okay. Uh, all right. Let's move on. So, how often do you drink water?
Mm, from the news article, I've heard that drinking water more than 2 liters in a day would be helpful for our skin conditions. So I'm trying to drink more than 2 liters in a day, but I know it is a tough job.
Right. What kinds of water do you like to drink?
Mm, I tend to drink just purified water. Uh, because uh, it is water that I can get more the most easily.
Okay. Did we talk about the different kinds of water before?
Yes,
Did I
tap
already talk
water,
mineral water?
mineral water, vitamin,
What do you call it? Sparkling water.
sparkling. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say purified, I'm just wondering, do you actually mean like distilled water, or do you mean like mineral water?
Just this one.
But I can't see what that one actually says on it. I can see the name, but I can't see. Does it say?
Natural mineral water.
Oh, it's mineral water. Okay, yeah, yeah. Right, because I probably told you before that distilled water is what they sell in Hong Kong. It's the most popular type of water, but there's no minerals in it. Literally, it's just H2O. And if you drink a lot of it, especially if you're sweating a lot, then it washes out all of the minerals from your body. And so it can be fatal, or it can cause you cramps in your legs and things like that. So it's actually distilled water isn't very healthy, really. As people think it is, because it says the word purified, they think it's better for you, but actually it's not very good for you.
Then what you mean is mineral water is better than distilled water,
Yes,
right?
definitely, yeah. Right, why do people throw garbage on the street?
I believe it is the people who throw garbage on the street is just a lack of ethics in their life, because in Korea, most Koreans learn about ethics more than 9 years from elementary school to college, but still we can see many people who throw garbage on the street.
And how do you feel when you see people throw garbage on the street?
When I see the people who throw garbage on the street, I think those people are just people uh, who live, who just care about their self, not to consider others, because that is why their behavior tend to be selfish, not to care about them.
So would you confront them and tell them to pick it up?
No, when I see them, I might have a lot of words I want to give them, but I just endure them, because the words that I will give to them would not good influence, or would not a good instruction for them, I think.
I had an English friend when I was living in Hong Kong, and every time he saw someone throw garbage on the street, he used to run after them and start shouting at them. It was actually very embarrassing to go out with him, because he never let it go. He couldn't let it go. He'd always go after them, and he'd pick it up and he'd put it back in their hand and tell them, "Don't, find a bin for it." And most of the time, people were sort of quite surprised, but they were so surprised that they didn't know what to say back. But I was always thinking, one day somebody's just going to hit him for confronting them. So, but he always did that kind of thing. Do you think your city is clean or not?
I think my country is still dirty, because I can see many people who throw garbage on the street, even though there are many trash bins on the street. Uh, and we can see many trashes on the street, which are thrown by many people.
Okay, so you've travelled before to other countries, and you've been to Europe. So which parts of Europe have you been to? You've been to the UK, I think you told me before.
Yes, I've
Okay,
been
so
to.
and you said that you've been to France. I think you said you preferred
Uh-huh.
London to Paris. Okay, so did you travel to any other countries in Europe?
I've been to UK, Paris, Switzerland, Italy,
Ah, right.
Germany.
So Switzerland and Germany. That's what I was going to ask you about. So if you've been to Switzerland and Germany, what did you notice about those two countries?
Oh, they were really clean,
Mm.
and I couldn't even find even a small trash on the street.
I know. They look at other European countries and they think that other European countries are dirty. So
Um,
they've got a very high. I mean, quite rightly so. They are very very clean. Both of those countries are very clean, but they do tend to look at the UK and say, why is the UK so dirty? And the UK is not that bad. It's not perfect. It's
Yeah,
not
as
that
far
bad.
as I remember, UK was really clean.
It's not. It's not as clean as Germany and Switzerland. I
Oh,
admit, but yeah. But so in Europe it's quite competitive. That kind of thing is quite competitive between countries, and it's the
mm,
sort of thing that Europeans notice. They do notice whether a country's clean or not, and so particularly if you come to like a place like the Philippines, and there's a lot of trash on the streets in the Philippines. And this thing about the garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean. There's this huge area in the middle of the Pacific Ocean of plastic
mm,
that's floating, and they reckon that there's almost all of that garbage comes from the Philippines, Vietnam, and I can't remember whether it's China or one of the other countries in this area. And that garbage that goes into the sea, they reckon that I think it's something like 40% of the garbage that goes into the sea all around the
oh,
world comes from these three countries in Southeast Asia. So that's a huge amount of garbage coming out of these countries just going straight into the sea. And here in Davao City, every now and again it floods very badly here and of course it rains very heavily because it's a tropical country, um, and when it rains very heavily the streets get flooded, and so a
mm,
few days after the rain they go to the drains and they try to clean the drains out, and all they find is plastic bottles, those water bottles that you've got there, those mineral water bottles, and the drains are just full of plastic bottles.
oh,
And so, of course, when it rains heavily, the water can't get through the drains, and that's the problem that they've got here. So they clean them all out, and then the next time it rains, they're already full again. So
mm,
it's just like a never-ending problem with people throwing away plastic bottles all the time or plastic
oh.
bags, and that's the problem that we've got. So. Right, what are the disadvantages of social networking applications?
Mm. I believe there are many drawbacks about the social network services, but among them, addiction is the most serious problem these days because many people are getting addicted with those applications. So whenever they have time, they enter that application without their realization. Uh, that is why these days many people don't have any clear classification with the reality and virtual society.
Okay, addiction is definitely one, and part of that addiction, I would say, is also distraction. So
Distraction.
so if they're at work, very often people who are at work are also accessing their social networking applications. They're not doing their work. They're sitting there looking at their phone and ignoring the work that they should be doing. So I would guess, I don't know, but I would guess that nurses don't do that because it's too important for them to be attending to their patients. So I'm sure, hopefully, you can tell me that you never see nurses looking at their phones while they're at work.
No, I'm a person who has already been addicted.
Are you addicted? Oh,
Ah. Ah.
so when you're at work, but how do you have time to look at your phone when you're at work?
Oh, I think I'm very severe addictioner. So
Addicts,
I
addicts. Yeah,
addict.
yeah.
So I tend it seems like I watch my smartphone every 3 minutes
Oh
or
wow.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
So I deleted Instagram application.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
So, and what have you replaced it with? Because normally when people delete one, they open up another one. So, so
Yes.
so you still have Kakao Talk because you can't do without Kakao Talk. So what about Facebook? Do you use Facebook?
I used to have, but this day I don't use it.
Mm. And so now when you're at work without Instagram, do you find that you just look at Kakao Talk instead of Instagram, or do you manage to prevent yourself from looking at Kakao Talk?
Oh, I The reason why I deleted Instagram was I thought I was I realized I was addicted, but I found that these days I access Kakao more frequently, and in Kakao there are many categories like games, news, celebrities, or many folder that I can uh, communicate and get a news just using the Kakao.
Yeah.
So
So it's no different. It's the same. When I'm in between classes, I normally have sort of 5 or 10 minutes in between classes, and straight away I look at Facebook. So I just look at Facebook, look at a few things, usually some jokes or something like that, or a quick chat with some friends, and then I come back to the class again. So I'm as bad, but at least it's only sort of, for me, it's only 5 minutes every hour. It's not, it's not every 5 minutes like you're doing it. It's like only 5 minutes in an hour. So, and if I have a longer break, I very quickly get bored with Facebook. You scroll down, and after 5 minutes, it's just the same old stuff, and there's nothing interesting in there. And so then I do something else. But it's not just social networking applications; it's computers and the internet in general. I'm more interested in surfing the net, finding my own information on the internet, than I am in Facebook. And the only reason I opened Facebook or opened an account on Facebook was to communicate with Filipino nurses for my business, because I know that all the Filipinos use Facebook. So if I want to advertise my business to Filipinos, I have to be on Facebook. And then I end up teaching Korean nurses, and they're all using Instagram. So it's and again, this is the problem. You go to it, you find your market, and you find that I'm still using Facebook. I should delete it, really. I should shut it down. But now there's a lot of people who know me on Facebook, want to talk to me on Facebook, I get some people who only talk to me on Skype, and I get some people who only talk to me on Facebook, and I've got other people who text me, and I've got some people who use Viber. Do you know Viber? Viber. It's the same it's very similar to Skype. It's another type of Skype. So I've got and then they say to me, "Oh, you should have WhatsApp." They tell I should have that. And so everybody's saying, "Oh, you should have this," and somebody else whose preference that I should have this. And so I've just started saying, "No, I've got enough of them. I don't want to have any more social networking applications." And people get quite offended, because if that's their favorite means of talking to people, they want me to be on the same one as them. And so I've just started saying, no, I can't have any more social. And plus the fact that I've got so many things now on my phone that my phone is very slow, because I've got all of these social networking apps on my phone, and so I just don't want any more of them. So, but you get a lot of pressure, right? Do you think it's good to make friends online?
Yes, I think so. Using with via online, we can meet a lot of we can make a lot of foreigner friends without time and space constraint. Uh, because it is phenomenon that these days many people. Really- Can I start over?
Yes.
Yes, I think.
You were doing so well. I was very impressed up to that point, and then you just forgot what you were going to say next.
Yes, I think it is really good phenomenon these days to make friends using with online, because via online we can make friends without time and space constraint, and via online we can learn different languages, and also exchange cultures or some lifestyle each other with the friends whom we make a relationship via internet.
Okay, it's better to say via the internet rather than via online. The reason is that I mean, via is actually Latin, Okay.
Latin. Mm-hmm.
And it's a preposition. So if you say via online, it's like sort of two prepositions together.
Via
So
and on.
yeah. So if you say via the internet, it's better.
Via.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, but don't you think there are also some dangers about meeting people online?
Yes, absolutely. It exists because when we see the news article, we can commonly see many uses. There are many victims who who are endangered from the people whom they meet at the online. So we need to be careful when we meet a person in real society. So we need some criteria to classify bad and good people.
Mm,
I want
right.
to make a foreigner friend in real society.
To meet one in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not difficult. You're living in Seoul. It must be very easy.
Well, there is no one who has interest to me.
Oh, yes. But all you have to do is to go to a coffee shop in Gangnam, and you'll meet foreigners. One of my other nurses or students last year, she worked in a plastic surgery place in Gangnam, and she said that at lunchtime, if she went out into the coffee shops near her hospital or surgery, there were lots of foreigners in the coffee shop down there. And I said, well, why don't you go and talk to them? And she said, oh, I can't. I'm too afraid, or I'm too ashamed, or something.
Yeah.
But I would say that's an ideal place to sort of talk to somebody, is in a place like that.
Mm.
There must be a lot
Oh,
of foreigners there. So
when I work in hospital, there are many foreigner patients, but I think that case were really good opportunity to have a chat and to practice for English conversation. But I think it is too afraid to make mistake or
oh wow, not still. You shouldn't be afraid of that. Your English is fine for talking to people. At the beginning of this year, I was teaching a doctor, a Korean doctor, and previously I'd taught his wife, and she's going to the UK. She wants to go to the UK as a doctor. His wife's a doctor as well, and she wants to go to be a
mm,
doctor in the UK. He's an anaesthetist, so he works as an anaesthetist, and
mm,
and so he was always apologizing about his English. Actually, he was again, obviously he was very intelligent, and
mm.
he really wanted to talk about a lot of different subjects. He wasn't really interested in doing IELTS. He just wanted to have a conversation with me. And he used to make mistakes, but he didn't care about making mistakes. He just kept on pushing on and having the conversation, which made for very interesting conversations with him, because he just wanted to talk about things, and we got on very, very well together. And then, but he said to me that he had, because of having the classes with me, he felt more confident. And then in his hospital, within the space of 2 or 3 weeks, they had some foreigners were admitted to the hospital for some kind of surgery or something. And so they said, oh, his name was David. Funnily enough, his name was David as well. I said, oh, David, can you talk to this patient? Because you're practicing English at the moment. And he was like, oh, I don't know about that. But they said, well, nobody else here can speak English, so it's got to be
Oh,
you. So he started talking, and then he just found that his confidence was there because he'd been talking to me. And he said all of the nurses and the doctors were all coming round to hear him speaking English. And they were all patting him on the back after saying, oh, your English is fantastic. So but it's interesting that, amongst people who are all obviously highly educated, doctors and nurses in a hospital, he was the only one that was prepared to speak English to these
mm,
foreign patients, and he was nervous as well. But as he said, as soon as he got started talking, it was fine. It was no problem, and all of his colleagues were just so impressed by the fact that he could do it. So I think you should, if you get patients, definitely, because they probably want to talk to, if somebody's sick or injured, they want to be able to talk to somebody to ask questions and some kind of comfort about, what's going to happen next, and what can I expect is going to happen? So if they can find a nurse who speaks even a little bit of English, they're just going to feel so much happier. So you really don't be afraid. Your English is very good, so really you shouldn't be nervous about speaking English to. No, seriously, your English is very good, really very good.
I want to get a tip to get a score 7 at the speaking.
Oh yes, yes. I think you should do. I think you should get 7.
How can I get a 7? Please give me some tips for.
Just do what you're doing now. I think your English is very good. I mean, I think it's like in the last question there, you got a little bit lost at the end of the last question about making friends online, I think was it that one, or was it the disadvantage of social networking apps? Maybe it was that one. It's just I think maybe sometimes maybe what you're trying to do because your vocabulary is very good. It's very high vocabulary. Maybe instead of using such high vocabulary, you should reduce it a little bit to being more conversational, because maybe that's easier for you to think about what you're trying to say rather than at the moment. I think you're thinking about the words. You're not thinking about the whole of the sentence or the message that you're trying to get. So you're always reaching for the high words, but actually in conversation, normally even native speakers, they don't normally go for high vocabulary. They go for conversational, more relaxed, if you like, vocabulary. So I mean, obviously you've got very good vocabulary. Use that when you're writing, in your writing part. But really for speaking, it's about the flow. It's about the language flowing or the conversation flowing. So don't always try to be using high language all the time. And I'd say that to all of my students. I'm not just saying that to you. I always say that to students, and because it improves your fluency, and that's a big part of the score for English for speaking is fluency.
Okay.
And really, honestly, your speaking is very good. It's really very good. So last time you got 6.5.
No, just 6. I took IELTS for 3 times, but all the speaking score was 6.
Wow, I find that hard to believe. So when was the last time you took it? It was just before we started classes, wasn't it?
No, it was May.
Oh, May. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, okay. Well, I mean, familiarity with the topics, but you studied these topics before with your Filipinos teacher, didn't you? You've already done these, so you know all of the topics already. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't advise students to learn the topics and learn a script. I really don't think that's a good idea, because the examiners are looking for that, and they will always give you a lower mark. If they're thinking, is this a 6.5 or a 7, and they think you're reciting a script, then you're definitely going to get 6.5. If they think, even if you're perhaps not quite so good, but they think, well, this person is just trying to answer the question using their ability rather than a script, they're going to give you a 7, because they consider that your effort is greater. So they really don't like scripts, and I understand why the Koreans do it, because that's the way you're taught through schools, to always just give back what the teacher gives you. But really in Western education, and this is a Western type exam, they want to hear your ideas and they want to hear what you've got to say. They don't want to hear the perfect answer back that's a script. They want to hear you talking your way through an issue, and that's really what part 3 is about. If you can do part 3 well, then you can get a 3. You can get a 7. You definitely get a 7. Part 1, there's not much of the score. You don't get much of it. If you make a really bad mistake or lots of mistakes in part 1, then it's going to be difficult to get a high score. But parts 1 and 2, it's just to sort of, okay, you're roughly here. But part 3 is really where you can improve your score by conversational English. You can do it. You're very good. By the time that was our 9th class. I know you're keeping track, so that was our 9th class. By the time we get to 20, you will definitely be able to get your 7.
I hope so.
So, if you found this IELTS class useful, informative, or entertaining, please give it a like, subscribe, and share with other people who you think might benefit from these live IELTS class videos using actual examination topics. Most of the students participating in these classes are now living their dream in English-speaking countries around the world. If you want classes with me, you can contact me on X, LinkedIn, MS Teams or Viber. Details are given in the description below or on the About page for this channel. Thank you.